Thank you for coming to the Eagle Court of Honor for Garrett Burris. Please stand for the presentation of the colors. Color guard, forward march. Color guard, halt. Color guard, post the colors. Everyone please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Color guard dismissed. Scouts, please remain standing for the scout oath. On my honor,
I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
I would like to call upon Bryson Honeycutt to lead us in the invocation. Be seated.
A scout is reverent. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come together as family, friends, and leaders, and fellow scouts on this significant day in the life of Garrett Burris. Today is a celebration of a journey full of challenges, friendship, struggles, and occasionally a little fun. Today we thank all of the merit badges earned along the way, the oaths committed to, the character Garrett has developed, and the service to our community that he worked so hard to bring about. Little by little, month by month, year by year, he was faithful and celebrated
Where
his
should we go
faith.
first? Ooh, there's a cover band in the lounge.
Committed and hurt and hard work.
How long should I set it for? But they play Mary Manilow.
So we ask for our blessing on Garrett, his family, and who supported and encouraged him, and the fellow scouts who helped him along the way. Blessed as the scout leaders, Troop 202, and all those who are physically or in spirit, continue to walk with Garrett as he takes these next steps into becoming the scout and the person you desire him to be. Amen.
Amen.
At this time, I would like for Abel Dale and Noah Sheffield to come forward to light the law candles. As we begin this Eagle Court of Honor and examine the Trail to Eagle, it is fitting that we start with the fundamental principles of scouting, the scout oath and scout law. We have just joined together in reciting the oath. In scouting, as in most activities of life, there are rules. The rules of scouting are found in 12 points of the scout law. As the candle is lit for each point of the scout law, let us pay careful attention to the words and rededicate ourselves to the principles contained in the rules. A scout is trustworthy. A scout tells the truth. He keeps his promises. Honesty is a part of his code of conduct. A scout is loyal. A scout is true to his family, friends, scout leaders, schools, nation, and world community. A scout is helpful. A scout is concerned about other people. He willingly volunteers to help others without expecting payment or reward.
Blowing out. Here we go, I got it.
A scout is friendly. A scout is a friend to all. He is a brother to other scouts. He seeks to understand others. He respects those with ideas and customs that are different. knows that good manners make it easy for people to get along together. A scout is kind. A scout understands their strength in being gentle. He treats others as he wants to be treated. He does not harm or kill anything without reason. A scout is obedient. A scout follows the rules of his family, school, and troop. He obeys the laws of his community and country. If he thinks these rules and laws are unfair, he tries to have them changed in an orderly manner rather than disobey them. A scout is cheerful. A scout looks for the bright side of life. He cheerfully does tasks that come his way. He tries to make others happy. A scout is thrifty. A scout works to pay his way and help others. He saves for the future. He protects and conserves natural resources. And he carefully uses time and property. A scout is brave. A scout can face danger even if he is afraid. He has the courage to stand for what he thinks is right, even if others laugh at him or threaten him. A scout is clean. A scout keeps his body and mind fit and clean. He goes around with those who believe in living by the same rules. He helps keep his home and community clean. A scout is reverent. A scout is reverent towards God. He is faithful in his religious duties. He respects and pleases others.
This is the voice of the eagle. The eagles whose heights you struggle to reach. We remember well when you first came to the base of the cliff and how you looked up in ambition and determination. Look back for a moment. Look back over the cliff you have climbed. Look back at the experience you have encountered in your ascent. These experiences should not be forgotten, and you should profit by making sure that the adverse ones do not occur again. Experience is a valuable teacher if you heed its teachings. Do you remember when you took your first step upon the trail to become an eagle? All while you were on the trail, we watched you study, we saw you learn by doing, and first you were only a scout. With that first step, you began to grow physically, mentally, and morally. You started living the scout oath and law, and soon you had attained the tenderfoot rank. Once inspired by the spirit of scouting, you did not stay at tenderfoot for long. Putting simple achievements behind you, you quickly climbed the rank of second-class scout. Some, like you, were stopping to catch their breath before continuing along the trail. You began to study more, you worked harder, and almost before you knew it, you topped the first summit on the trail to Eagle when you received the first class badge. There you found a tempting green meadow by a crystal clear stream bathed in the sun. Here you were tempted to remain. Yes, you could have remained there to live the first class glory, but your ambition spurred you on. We remember your advancement to Star Scout. The trail from first class to star rank was not as difficult as it had seemed. This spurred you on, and again you went farther. The trail was steeper and less worn. Fewer scouts seemed to be headed in your direction. You looked down and saw the crowds below you.
You looked up and saw a few above you, and with the same determination in which you started your climb, you continued up the trail. Gaining the next summit was not easy. Much leadership, service, and hard work had to be done. Soon you earned the badge of lifer. When the Life Scout is a much coveted position and deserves much credit, the Eagle Trail does not stop there. It still leads on to the summit. Its pathway narrows and steepens considerably, and it winds its way along the narrow ledge. It becomes tougher and more trying. Many things had to be done in order to conquer these last miles. Additional merit badges were earned. Your leadership to service to others were tested through your Eagle Service Project. Only those with the greatest amount of persistence and courage are able to gain this thrill of victory. You were on your way to Eagle. Eagle candidate Garrett Burris, you may now light the Eagle candle. This is the voice of the Eagle. I am the Eagle. Since the beginning of time, man has used me and my brothers as a symbol of royalty, power, victory, and valor. My strength and courage have inspired men throughout the ages. I am the Eagle. I am prepared to stand for the virtues of freedom, strength, and pride. I am the Eagle. I am prepared to serve my God, my country, and my fellow man. I am the Eagle. I am prepared to stand for honesty, truth, and integrity. I am the Eagle. I am prepared to lead others and to accomplish and set tasks to the best of my ability. I am the Eagle. I am prepared to cross all lines of race, creed, and nationality. I am the Eagle. I am prepared to be self-reliant and resourceful. I am the Eagle. I am prepared. Yes, we've watched your character unfold and become more manly. We've watched your leadership expand into a valuable asset. We've watched your mind develop and your wisdom increase. We have watched all these things in you, and now that you're on the threshold of your goal, we welcome you, for you have done your climbing in a true scout-like manner.
The awarding of the Eagle Badge is an important and serious occasion. The climax and the goal for which a scout works many years, an occasion for pride and joy, a time for serious contemplation. It is the culmination of efforts of the various leaders of this scout. The Eagle Award is the highest and most coveted rank in scouting, the last major step in the advancement program. Fewer than 2% of all scouts in the United States reach the Eagle rank. At this point, we trust you have achieved our purpose in the building of character, the training of leadership, and the practice of service. Careful examination has been made by the court as to the qualifications of this applicant for the Eagle Scout Award. Mr. Garrett Burris, proficiency in the various crafts and skills prescribed for the Eagle rank has been checked, and the records and merit badges earned by the Scout have been approved and certified by the counselors appointed by this court. The Scout has qualified on the basis of merit badge achievement. Eagle candidate Garrett Burris has earned 37 merit badges. He has demonstrated capacity and willingness to exert leadership ability in activities that are constructive and worthwhile in his community. The record has been checked in troop leadership, school affairs, and other fields of work and service. He has demonstrated loyalty and duty to God and country. We believe him qualified to receive the rank of Eagle Scout. I would like to introduce Scoutmaster Matt Sheffield and Scoutmaster Emeritus Richard Sides to present the Eagle Award.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you for everyone coming out today to share with Garrett. I'll come over there and join you in a second. I got him the notes. I'm not the man. So today we gather to honor Garrett on reaching the pinnacle scouting, which is the Eagle rank, as Ron just shared with us. This badge, as small as it may seem, represents the highest ideals of what scouting is about. It's a symbol of hard work, dedication, leadership, and service. It signifies that a scout who wears it has met the challenges, overcome the obstacles, and demonstrated the character that defines an Eagle Scout. Garrett, earning the Eagle Scout rank is not something that just happens by random chance. It takes years of commitment, which we've had many years. You came into the troop in 17, 18?
Yeah.
2025, so time flies. It's been a little bit of time that you've climbed to get to this point. It also shows a willingness to strive for excellence, even when times get tough. We've had a few of those along the way. It signifies along the way that you have not only grown in your skills, but you've also grown in the character that you demonstrate, the leadership that you can lead with. You've lived up to what the Scout Oath and the Scout Law are about. You've made a positive impact to all of those that have been around you. Your Eagle Project is a shining example of that ability. So in the beginning, I was a little worried about Garrett. I'll just be honest with you. We kind of got there at the end, right, Garrett? But that goes back to that willingness to strive to get the work done, right? So his Eagle Project, he designed, planned, and carried out the installation of a centralized recycling center at Stanfield Elementary, which is that where you went to school at?
No, I wouldn't go look at stuff.
So he gave back to a school he didn't even go to. I thought maybe he went to school. But you're still helping out the folks at Stanley County. So that gives the students and the teachers and the people who work just there at Stanfield Elementary the ability to recycle in the classroom and then bring it to a centralized location so it can be picked up so the recycling process continues. Because sometimes recycling ends in the bin that you throw it in and then we don't know where it goes, right? So with it being centralized, that helps it to continue on, which helps promote that environmental awareness and sustainability that we keep talking about in scouting. Leave no trace, right? Whether to throw it in the trash or put it in the recycle, then throw it in the ditch. That's a meaningful contribution to our community and to the students over there at Stanfield Elementary. We also did a little bit of work with beautifying the campus that day. So we cleaned out some beds that I don't know if they've been cleaned out in a couple of years, but that was fun and exciting. And Garrett was in between all of that, managing the process. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to Richard to present Garrett with his badge.
Well, Garrett's parents, would please come forward, please. Well, it's an extreme honor always to bestow an Eagle Award on a young man after many years of work, and this is no different. And I appreciate Garrett calling me to ask me to come here and be part of this ceremony, because it is truly an honor to see a young man get the Eagle Award. And I remember this young man when he was this tall, instead of 4 inches above my head. And unless he stops growing, he's going to be getting ready for basketball court instead of a landscaping business or something. But it's an extreme honor, and he's had a lot of adventures through his career here at VSA Troop 202. He went on many adventures out west, and the most adventurous one he went on was Philmont Scout Ranch, where he hiked many miles and completed his trek at the end of the week, in 10 days actually, and still wears the patch on his shirt pocket over there to recognize that achievement. So he's had many accomplishments throughout this time, and now it's time to bestow the highest accomplishment he can get as an Eagle Scout. So with that being said, let's move on with the real business we're here for. So I'm going to ask Mom if she will pin his Eagle badge on, please. No blood necessary. Now we'll move on to the neckerchief. This is the eagle neckerchief that he can wear from now on. So if you'll remove the old green and red one, and give him an official eagle neckerchief. Now you can stay here, Dad, and pin his palms on. For every 5 merit badges he earns beyond 21, he gets an eagle palm. And it's just a small feather-like attachment that goes to the ribbon of his medal. Bronze, gold, and he's silver.
Oh.
Let's give this man a big hand. So now, Garrett's going to give him something to his mother as a recognition for all her sacrifice, putting up with his time in scouting all these years. So this is a mom pin that she gets to wear. I didn't hear a squeal or anything. And here is the dad pin. Good job. With that being said, I'm going to turn it back to Matt. All
All right, so one of the things that we give you, token of all the dedication and the hard work that you put into Troop 202, is we give them an eagle statue of a scout taming the eagle that he can take and put on his desk or wherever at home, on top of the TV, wherever you want to put it. It's kind of hard to put on TVs now; they're kind of flat screen. So, but if you're a scout, you can figure it out. So, good job. We are missing, however, your certificates. They are held up in Dallas. They're blaming it on the White House. So your scout certificate actually is signed by the city president. And once that's done, that will be sent to you and we'll give them to you. So if they call me, I'll call Dad and get it to you here. So congratulations. Thanks so much. Up kind of Garrett's record. He missed our last court of honor. I believe you were doing it in third place. He has earned 2 merit badges that are not on his sash. He's got his backpacking merit badge and his hiking merit badge. So put those on your sash. Is a mentor pin that you can award to an adult who's helped guide you on the path, whoever you pick. I don't know who that is. That's up to Garrett. So I'm going to turn it over to Garrett and let him do his magic. So it's all yours.
Here, I'm right here. I'm right here.
I want to give my mentorship pin to someone who hasn't been recognized enough for all the things that they do in the troop. They've been with me on all my trips out west, and they've started my journey in the troop. They've always been there in my patrol, and recently they branched out, but they're still in the troop, and they do so much, and I don't think they go I think they go a little unnoticed for it. So Ross, I would like to give you
receiving this Eagle Scout rank means a lot, right? Right now it's overwhelming for what that means. But I'm going to deliver to you what's called the Eagle Scout Charge here, which is a tradition that's been passed down through generations of scouts for a long time that have reached the summit of achieving Eagle Scout. So in the Eagle Charge, I challenge you to accept the responsibilities that accompany the Eagle Scout badge, to go beyond today, but actually follow you for the rest of your life, the rest of the days that you're on this earth. Your training and your experiences as a scout has prepared you to live as a responsible, honorable, and contributing citizen. As an Eagle Scout, you'll be looked upon as a leader. Be expected to live by the Scout Oath and the Scout Law in your daily life. You will need to lead by example, serve with integrity, use your moral compass that we have trained you with to guide you in the correct direction, even when others around you may not see or agree with your direction. Remember to hold true with what you know is right. Continue to seek knowledge and understanding all the rest of your days, so that you can better serve others, to make the world a better place. I challenge you to use your skills and your influence to build that better world. And whatever you do, wherever you go, remember that your actions now not only reflect on yourself, but on every Eagle Scout that has come before you, that is with you, or that will come after you. Remember the saying, once an eagle, always an eagle. So the day that you take your last breath, then we will say that Garrett Burris was an Eagle Scout. You are an Eagle Scout, right?
Yes, sir.
For the rest of your life. Are you willing to accept those responsibilities? If you say no, I'll take the badge from you. So.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Congratulations, Garrett. I'm extremely proud of you. You're an Eagle Scout. Wear that badge with pride. And remember what it represents. May it inspire you to continue to lead, serve, and live up to the ideals of scouting in all that you do. Congratulations, Garrett.
Thank you.
At this point, I would like to invite Mark Watson up to deliver some comments. That's all I gotta say.
I've got notes too because I'm not very good at this, so I have to type out what I want to say. All right. Good afternoon, Troop 202, friends and family of Garrett. I was honored when Greg called me to ask me to share some of my thoughts about Garrett's Trail to Eagle. I had the pleasure of taking a couple of trips out west with Garrett. I thought this would be easy. When I sat down to give it some thought, it proved harder than I expected. I expected to share several different stories about some of his experiences or shenanigans, but they all seem to boil down to the same thing. Some of you may know this, others may not. Garrett only has two speeds, asleep or 100 miles an hour. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. Early on in his hiking adventures, we were on a small trip to Uwari. He ended up with blisters on his feet, big enough to have their own zip code. I didn't think we would see him again, but we did. And he kept coming back. Later, I can still picture him and my sons hiking in the Narrows in Zion National Park, carelessly stumbling over rocks into the deepest pools of water just to see if he could. He was always fearless and 100 miles an hour. And yesterday, or so it seems, watching him practically sprint all over Philmont in the heat and sun, going from one adventure to the next, there was one morning I woke up in my tent 100 yards away from his tent, but could hear him and some other folks singing "Take Me Home Country Road." That really catchy tune about West Virginia. It made no difference that we're in New Mexico and from North Carolina. He was living his best life, right up until that mid-afternoon collapse on the trail from dehydration and heat exhaustion. Remember, 100 miles an hour or asleep. He had been 100 miles an hour and now he was asleep. In the dirt, in the sun, on a ridge, a half a mile from the staff cabin. And after the boys got some real-life experience in first aid with a couple of medics to help out, he spent the day in the sick bay making friends with the staff, eating real food, and getting a shower. He missed our climb up Baldy Mountain while he was gone. But the crew was glad to see him when we returned, and by then he had made friends with all the camp staff. He was drinking hot chocolate. He brought us some fruit to share, which is a real treat on the trail. So Philmont was quite an adventure, and I believe that Garrett was probably 25% of that, even though he only made up 5% of the crew. So 100 miles an hour. Garrett, I hope you're proud of your accomplishments and your experiences. Mom and Dad, you have a fine young man earning his Eagle Scout rank today. Thank you, Garrett, for allowing me to be a part of your Scout experience and your Trail to Eagle. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. And now I'd like to invite Travis Lauder up to share some thoughts.
All right, I'm just going to share a few little stories about Garrett. I've known Garrett Well, let me back up. So, I was acquainted with Garrett's family through my wife to start out with. She was Garrett's first grade teacher. And one day after school, I'm sure you probably, you know what story I'm going to tell?
Yeah.
Okay. So, my wife calls me frantically and says, I jerked someone's car handle off of their car today. I was like, you what? She says, I said, whose was it? She's like, Garrett Burris. I went up and they have to put the kids in the car. You know, this has been a couple years back. So she was his first grade teacher and all, you know. So she went up, she says, Garrett says you really got to jerk it hard. You know, she jerked the door handle off the car. And I'm sure Greg probably remembers. And I said, well, just call and tell them we'll take care of it. And of course, you know, anyway, Greg worked it out, they worked it out, but you know, I'm like, you know, I'm just picturing in the back of my mind, you know, here I am. We got to figure out how to pay for this door handle, you know, but that was my first acquaintance with Mr. Burris. But anyway, so later on comes scouting. And my son's a few years older than Garrett. So I was watching Garrett from a distance all the way through Cub Scouts. And Garrett was always there. You know, he was wide open, as all younger scouts are, but always there. And that's what makes it, you know, they're always there. So further on down the line, he gets into Boy Scouts. We're camping, we're hiking. We go again to the Ularis. I'm trying to remember, I don't remember exactly which trip we were preparing for. It may have been, I think it was when you were planning on going to Philmont the first time. And we were hiking, and it was in January. It was in the upper teens that night. We got to the campsite. It's cold, y'all. It's cold. And when we got to the campsite, everybody sets their tents up. Garrett automatically goes to sleep. I mean, it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. If you remember the trip?
Yeah.
We had, I think that was the afternoon they had grappled on us. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm like, okay, I went over to Garrett's tent. I was like, hey, bud, what's going on? I was up all night playing video games. I'm tired. I was like, well, come on, get up. Let's get something to eat. I don't want nothing to eat. I was like, Garrett, you need to eat. I'm good. I was like, all right. So I was like, I'll keep my eye on him. He'll be fine. I mean, you know, he's 13, 14 years old. He'll be all right. So he goes to bed 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Of course, by this time it's already dark because it's January. Everybody else is still out running around. We got fires built. Next morning, I never get a phone call from anyone. You know, I mean, you know, usually if something happens, my wife will call me, but you know, it's very unusual if I'm camping, I get a phone call. For some reason, we had cell service over there. 4:30, 4:45 the next morning, my phone rings. I'm scared. I finally found the phone. I was like, who's calling me? You know, 5 o'clock in the morning. First off, but it's Greg. You remember Greg?
Yep.
Okay. I'm like, all right, what's up? I was like, Greg's like, Garrett says he don't think he can make it back out. I was like, what you mean he can't make it back out? I said, he hiked all the way in. I said, he was tired. I said, he didn't eat any supper, but I said, he'll eat breakfast this morning because he'll be good and hungry. I said, Greg, he's fine. He'll be fine. He's like, well, I just wanted to let you know. I said, I've done checked on him. He'll be fine. I said, we'll get up here in a little bit. And Greg was concerned about it. I think Garrett had already called him that morning, concerned. But anyway, I knew Garrett had it in him the whole time. I mean, he had it in him. I had seen it before. I'm not surprised that we're standing here today. I mean, I'm honored to be standing here today.
Thank you.
It's times like that though that I wrote, and I knew you had it in you. But it's times like that you did make the push. Yes, you went out a shorter way that day, but you stuck with it. And that's the tricks that you learn from. You're still a young man then.
Yeah.
You know, you learn from those mistakes, right? There were other trips we made. I remember a 20-mile hike in there somewhere. You know, but you made it, right? So, one other thing, this day is about Garrett, but I want to give Greg some kudos also. Greg has a busy schedule, work schedule, a little different than other people, but you put forth a lot of effort to be here with him. And that's a lot of the reason that we're here today also. It's a family thing. You got a lot to be thankful for right here.
Thank you, Travis. And now I'd like to invite Carlos Tolero up to share some remarks as well.
There's a lot more to say. All right. What Travis said is absolutely true. Greg was always around absolutely as much as he could possibly be with his busy schedule, and he, it was amazing. And that's usually the scouts who stand up here and get their eagle. The parents who help them out all the time and do things for them, and you see them trying to do as much as they can. That helps scouts succeed very much. So any of you parents here, please take heed to that. It's very important for you and your kid. But back to him, when that story that Travis had about that particular camp out, because I remember we were training him to go to Philmont at that time. And he struggled. He really did. That blister was pretty humongous, as Mark said. It was he just powered through. He just did what he had to do, and he made it happen. He ended up not going to Philmont that trip, but he sure made it happen the next go round. He had a chance. He went to Philmont, and that was quite an experience. As Mark said about him being 100%, man, he's go. I mean, he was hopping and skipping down those trails and just having a good old time until the point that the good Lord said, your body needs to rest. And boy, did he. We were just walking along, and it was just like, boom, face first. Couldn't believe it. We freaked out. But it's one thing about scouting, guys, and it goes for all of y'all. The training you get in scouting, and I've had to do, I've been to Philmont 3 times, and the training you get on first aid and all that stuff. I mean, Mark and I were Johnny on the spot. We had, doing everything we needed to do for him to make him recover quickly and wait on the EMTs and decide what was wrong with him. And it makes me really happy with the training you get in scouting, whether you're an adult or a scout, how much it helps. I remember, I guess my second go around at Philmont, having to provide first aid to kids who had, cuts, blisters, whatever. I was the crew medic pretty much. But the boys all learned from these experiences, and Garrett, I'm sure, learned a lot about maybe drinking more water and taking care of himself on the trail. Because that was pretty scary. I'll never forget looking around, the boys' eyes are about this big. They were like, is he gonna live? And he did. And I'm sure there's some young nurses at the infirmary at Philmont probably still remember this young man, because I'm sure he was giving them a tough time. He said how much he was asking them for this and that. So, as Garrett is 100%, but he was only there maybe a day and a half, and he was back on the trail and finished the trip off with us. And the whole crew sure was happy to see him back, man. They were cheering and yelling. But as I was saying about the training, and here he is, an Eagle Scout now, and as Matt talked about how once an eagle, always an eagle, is absolutely true. And that's, I have really enjoyed scouting very much. And speaking of eagle, my phone did all that because my eagle son, Colin, who texts me all these funny videos and things all the time, I accidentally hit the link and it started mouthing off real quick. I was trying to shut my phone off. That's, it's just great to see eagles who are just thriving, and that young man contacts me several times a day, which all of y'all take heed to that too. Makes your parents happy. When you go off to college or whatever you're doing, stay in touch with your folks. It makes them happy. So, but congratulations, and I know you're going to do well. Especially, I'm hoping, if you do anything like with your dad, this boy can sell ice cube to an Eskimo. At Philmont, he was a wheeler dealer. I'll tell you what, he could do it all. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Carlos. And now I would like to invite Garrett to share some remarks as well.
I would just like to start thanking everybody for coming out to my Eagle Scout ceremony and being part of it, bringing food, or just coming to see me get my Eagle Scout. Thank you guys a bunch. I'd like to shine some light on my parents. My mom always taking me to meetings and helping me out. My dad always going on the trips out west and always being there at meetings to talk to everybody. And I'd like to thank all the leaders for helping me on my journey across my 7-year span in Boy Scouts. It was a long journey, and I just wanted to thank all of you sincerely, even the Scouts. You guys are awesome, for helping me along the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Garrett. And I'll open the floor if your parents would like to say any remarks. No pressure, but if you would like to say something.
I would like to say something about Miss Lauer. That's great. You didn't know the whole story. She pulled that and adopted her in, and the next day Garrett went to school, and he handed her a piece of paper, and she said, "What's this?" And he said, "It's the bill for her hand."
That was my tardy paper for me being
It
late.
was tardy the next day. That's all I was going to say. That was so funny. She told me.
I'd just like to say I appreciate all the help and support from Troop 202 and the leadership, and the times when I couldn't be there and y'all were there for me. That means the world to me. So I just appreciate you guys. I'm proud of you, son.
Bryson Honeycutt, will you please close us in prayer?
A Scout is reverent. God, our Creator and Father, we thank you for the gift of scouting, through which you shape young people to both servants and leaders. Today we give special thanks for Garrett Burris, for the mentors and friends who guided him, and for the hard work you have enabled him to accomplish in earning the highest rank, the Eagle Scout. May you continue to guide him and all who witnesses this ceremony today to do our duty to God and our country, to help other people at all times, to keep ourselves physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. May we all strive to live the ideas of scouting, to be trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. We also ask for the blessing of the food and fellowship that will follow this ceremony. May this meal nourish our bodies as this occasion has nourished our spirits. Bless the hands that prepared it, as well to all those who have gathered to celebrate Garrett's achievement. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you all for coming to celebrate with us today. This Eagle Court of Honor is adjourned. Please join us for a reception. Scouts and leaders, please wait for a photo before joining the reception.